Wrapping up the 5th chapter, At Ease, all about how Swamishri was at ease as he was in love everywhere, all of the time. Perhaps we can learn how to be in love and at ease also. Swamishri did not become inactive. We were talking about his later age, in his 90s, the last few years of his life. Though the expression of his bhakti and seva, his loving devotion and selfless service changed, his intent was to always serve the divine and his bhaktas, his devotees, and experience the Atman, the true self within. The sadhus, the monks, recall that even when his health was at an all-time low, Swamishri always looked for and asked for Hare Krishna Maharaj, which was a personal form of the divine that he took with him everywhere. When his medicines were brought to him, he asked if Hare Krishna Maharaj had sanctified them. Most importantly, the sadhus realized that though Swamishri's body would not support his desire to serve, in his mind, Swamishri was still giving his all to Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maybe it would help for context if I can show you a picture of this image that he carried with him everywhere. I know that halfway through the book there was an image. Maybe I can jump back. Yes. Whenever the term Hare Krishna Maharaj is said, you can imagine this little gold statue he carried with him. He just loved it, It's like how some of us, we carry with us a stuffed animal, It's like your safety stuffed animal, your best friend. That was Swamishri's best friend. And to him, it symbolized the divine. The intent was to serve as obsequiously as he had all his life. That's a word, isn't it? Obsequiously. I assume that means without sequence break. Swamishri was consecrating the murtis, the divine images, for a mandir, for a temple in America. The sadhus helped him raise his hands to perform the rituals. One of the sadhus, one of the monks in attendance, noticed that Swamishri raised his hands as far as he could and let out a little sigh or grunt. He observed Swamishri doing this each time he extended his hands with flowers to put at God's murti's feet. Later that afternoon, the sadhu asked Swamishri why he was grunting. Swamishri explained, "I have always placed the flowers at the feet of the murti. I wanted to make sure I use every ounce of energy in my body to reach God's feet. It is my bhakti, my loving devotion." The sadhu could not help but ask, "Swamishri, did you reach the murti's feet?" "Yes, of course I did. I have to. It is my seva, my selfless service." The sadhu was dumbfounded. After all that exertion and effort, Swamishri had only managed to get his hands about 4 or 5 inches from his wheelchair, but in his mind he was reaching the murti. Welcome, J. Rod. I think you may be new here. How are you feeling, my friend? Swamishri spent every last bit of energy to serve and worship. His seva and bhakti, his selfless service and loving devotion, continued in different forms. He also asked his attendants to bring and place Hare Krishna Maharaj in his room. Now, more than ever, he preferred the company of the divine over that of any other person. Swamishri had not forgotten the divine in those around him. Late one morning, Swamishri came into the cabin in the courtyard to give darshan. Several hours later, the sadhus placed him into the bed for his afternoon rest. Bhadresh Das Swami noticed that Swamishri's lips were moving as if he were speaking to himself. He asked Swamishri if he wanted anything. Swamishri did not even hear his question. He was lost in his own conversation. Bhadresh Das Swami and Narayan Das Swami were curious. They leaned over and listened to Swamishri softly speaking to himself for 4 minutes. Earlier that morning in the courtyard, Swamishri had noticed bhaktas, devotees from a small, impoverished village in attendance. The Dalit and scheduled tribe bhaktas, these are devotees from minority and often underprivileged parts of India, of Badalpur, had a generational connection with Swamishri and his gurus. The guru, the spiritual teacher, was recalling his love for them and their love for him. Swamishri remembered their huts and homes and the names of specific bhaktas, and even the specific acts of seva and bhakti, of selfless service and loving devotion they had performed over the years. The two sadhus had tears in their eyes. Though Swamishri had not met the bhaktas that morning, his bhakti and seva towards them had not changed at all. The attendants often caught him mumbling about bhaktas. About bhaktas' arrangements after noticing them in the crowds. For example, Sudhir Singh Bapu from Gondal is here. He likes his tea warm and sweet. I hope they have made arrangements, he would say. Though his health did not allow him to accommodate requests for padramanis for household visits to devotees in nearby villages any longer, the intent to please his sadhus and bhaktas, his monks and devotees, remained crystal clear in his mind. December mornings can get cold in Sarangpur. Swamishri was under his blanket and resting on his left side. The attendants could tell that he was in pain and uncomfortable. Hari Prakash Das Swami gently sat next to him and started rubbing his back. Swamishri did not find it comforting and made a slight face. Hari Prakash Das Swami noticed and asked, "May I gently rub your back? It may help the pain." Swamishri said no. "Don't you like it?" Swamishri again said no. Hari Prakash Das Swami insisted, "But what about the fact that I'd like to? How about 2 minutes?" As soon as Swamishri heard the young sadhu express his preference, Swamishri gave in. "Sure, you can caress my back for a few minutes." The sadhus in the room were startled by how conscious Swamishri was of accommodating others' wishes, even in a heightened state of pain and physical suffering, and kept giving and accommodating. He did. Swamishri kept giving darshan, viewing presents, in the courtyard until the 19th of May, 2016, after which he gave darshan from his room. He gave his last darshan to the bhaktas and sadhus on the 12th of August, 2016, just 1 day before he renounced his mortal body. Let's pause our reading of In Love, at Ease there for now. So thank you, my dear viewers, for listening. And if you have any questions that you would like me to relay to Yogi Trivedi, the author, I would be honored to relay them if I get the chance. No promises. He's very busy with a PhD right now, so I hear. And therefore, it's totally understandable if he can't make time anytime soon. But he said he'll try his best. And that's enough for me, of course. More than enough.